Thank you for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is July 12th, 2015. 15 years ago, I was on the internet typing 4,000 posts in 4 weeks. Why? I wasn't doing it for OSA. I was doing it for me. OSA had already turned on me, and I had decided I don't want to have anything to do with them. But I thought maybe these critics know something. Maybe they know something. Let me just look on the internet and kind of put myself in their world and see if they can somehow help me. This was all kind of subconscious. I was just like, I'll just go on and see if I can shut down ARS, which was the one news group happening back then in 2000, right? I ended up meeting Andreas Helderland, woke up, escaped out. Now, I say escape because I didn't believe they did this stuff at the time. I really didn't. I stood up in court and said they don't do fair game. I was positive in my mind they didn't. And they're very good at what they do. And the reason why I'm making this video today in 2015 July is because in the last 48 hours, I've had the luck and the honor and the pleasure of talking to two people that the Church of Scientology nearly got suckered into joining staff. And about a month ago, someone else nearly giving them their entire inheritance. Okay? So I want you guys to understand what you are doing today is vital that you make sure that these people understand how evil and insidious this organization is. I mean, one of the people that was going to join staff, and this happened to me in 1969, the exact same thing. My first instinct, and there's a book called Blink, which talks about your very first instinct is right. And I can't say it enough. Get that book, read that book, learn about your first instincts. But my first instinct with the Church of Scientology was, wow, they're really kind of creepy. And I asked this person yesterday, what was your first instinct about the Church of Scientology? And you know what they said? They're really creepy. And I hadn't said what my first instinct was. And it was like, oh my God, it's still the same first instinct. Why? Because they are creepy. If these people have been hounded to death with them calling and calling and calling, and I want you to know, Scientology, because I know you're watching this video, one of you is from the Office of Special Affairs, and I can tell you this, the more you pound people like that, I mean, it's an obvious thing. The more they go, something's really creepy about these people. I'm in sales for much of my life. Why? Because I couldn't make any money as an auditor. Because nobody makes money as an auditor. You don't. There's no future in Scientology, except for David Miscavige and probably really David Miscavige, maybe the registrars. But most of the registrars that were in for years when all of us were in are out. And obvious and funny enough, working for WISE, which is their management consulting group. Now, if you were ever in years ago, that was completely not okay. If you joined the Sea Org, the only organization in Scientology you could work for again was coming back to the Sea Org. If you ever left for any reason, you had to come back to the Church of Scientology. There you go. Now you can see me. But see, I wore my little prison outfit. It's not really, it's a little snazzier than if you were in prison, but it does kind of represent Going Clear, Scientology, Hollywood, and the Prison of Belief by Lawrence Wright. It is a prison of belief. Okay, so the first thing that this one person told me is they're creepy, which many other people have told me the same thing. And I told it to myself in 1969, right? But did I listen to it? No. The second thing is, and this happened to me too, you better not question it because it's going to cost you a lot of money and the tech won't really work on you. Okay? Now, I know people out there think, I would never follow that. These are people that today and yesterday were just about ready to join staff. I'm making this video because number one, I want anybody who is thinking or they're falling for their things to realize, okay, your first instinct is correct. So be honest with yourself. What is your first instinct? Because most people, it's creepy, just like me. in 1969. I was like, something's wrong with these people. And that is a continuing thing. But what do? They throw you in ethics and say you're in doubt. You need to work out of your lower conditions. And you're surrounded by people saying you must be in doubt because we're all winning. We're all having a great time. Look at their ads. Look at how happy everyone is. We're doing so great. Our lives changed because of Scientology. We're different. We're surviving. And you can too. But it's only the one thing you can't do is don't look on the internet. Don't listen to those suppressive people. Don't read what anybody else has to say about us because your future depends on that. Now, cult experts who study cults say the two worst cults in the world are the Moonies and the Church of Scientology. Why? Because they build in those traps early on. Don't look. Don't talk to anybody else but us. Now, how do you know whether I'm telling the truth or any other suppressive person is or they are? Well, all of us can say, come on in. We'll talk to you. I'll talk to Osa. I'll talk to David Miscavige. You can bring in all of RTC. I'm happy to talk to him. I am. I have nothing to hide. I'm happy to talk to him. Will they come talk to me? Hell no. My SP Declare, thank you very much. Here you go. Tori Bazazian, September, 15th, 2000. Did I have any ethics handlings for this SP Declare, which is per policy I'm supposed to have? No. Did I have a fitness board? No. Did I have a committee of evidence? No. Did anyone talk to me at all before they declared me suppressive? No. They didn't apply any of the tools of the Church of Scientology. That's David Miscavige. And David Miscavige, you are a weasel and a snake and a chicken shit. That's who you are. And you know it, and I know it. And so does most of the world. So you can pretend you're Mr. Tough Guy and you've got all this money and you can control all these people. But you know what? They call me. And within about maybe an hour at the most, usually I think yesterday, I talked to the person for maybe 10 minutes. And they realized it's a scam. It's a con. Go look on the internet. I can say that. Look on the internet. Read their side. Read my side. Read Xenu.net. Look at xscientology.net. Look at TonyOrtega.org. Learn both sides. Okay? And then you make up your own mind. Because we know we suppressive people that have really committed all these evil, horrible deeds. I mean, most of this is just solid, flat out lies. I was never paid by anybody to leave the Church of Scientology. I never abandoned my family. I left a cult. That's the fact. My husband abandoned me. Okay, I left the cult. He divorced me. He's the guy that signed the paper saying I want a divorce, not me. So that's you, Harold Bazazian, and that's on your ass. Continued adherence to a person or group pronounced a suppressive person or group. Okay, so what? You pronounce everybody suppressive. If they think anything against you, they're suppressive. So what? Failure to handle and disavow and disconnect from a person demonstrably guilty of suppressive acts. Yeah, so? Again, I'm talking to somebody you don't like. So what? My dad taught me that when I was a young kid. He said, bullies will never sit down at the table. And that's how you can tell. Because anybody else, whether they agree with you, disagree with you, as long as they'll sit down at the table with you and talk, they're fine. But bullies will never sit down at the table. And that's the Church of Scientology. They will never, ever, and you know it, Miscavige, you are never going to sit down at the table with any of us. And that is what's going to kill you. It is killing you right now. Because it's a very simple thing. Checkmate. We'll talk, they won't. What does it say on the back here? Her only terminal is the International Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief. Will they talk to me? Hell no. Not ever. Not in 15 years. I've written them. I've called them. No go. So you know what? You're full of shit. You're a bunch of liars. You're a bunch of phonies. You're not a religion. You're a business because you have to pay for every single level all the way up. Every time. You have to. You have to become an IAS member to even do the student hat, which is one of their first things. You have to. Don't sign anything. If you are newly into this and watching this, do not sign anything because, you're signing away your own freedoms, that they get first choice at you before your parents, before your own medical doctor. The Church of Scientology gets to handle you. And you can type in lisamcpherson.org. Look what happened to Lisa. She wanted out. That's what happened to her. And yes, she was locked in a room for 17 days and she is dead. I personally know 12 young people now who killed themselves. 12. That's why I speak out. It's one of the major reasons I speak out is the deaths and suicides and they breaking up families and stopping free speech. Those are my three big things. And they're still doing it today, worse than ever. So please look, learn, and listen to both sides. Mostly learn the other side because that's what they're telling you. And think about it. If anybody who says don't look at it, don't talk about it, don't read it, there's something fishy about that. And you know it. There is. Because any good religion is going to say, do whatever you want. Here's our religion. This is what we believe. What does Scientology believe? They don't. They don't have beliefs. Hubbard said, this isn't a religion, really. I mean, we're a science of the mind. That's what it started with. Dianetics, modern science of mental health. Mental health, my ass. Anyway, please, I love you guys. Thank you for calling me. Please, there's tons of facts and information. Look at it and learn it. Okay? Because that's the source, is learning the facts. You can look at testimony of judges. Type in Scientology + judges and read what judges have said about the Church of Scientology before you ever give them your life. And realize it is, just like The Truman Show, and if you haven't watched that movie, watch it. Because it is. And once you step into it and shut the door, it's very hard to get out. And if I sound passionate, it's because I am. And I love you, and I thank you, every single person who has stood up and spoken out and exposed these abuses of this insidious organization hiding behind the curtain of religion. Thank you. And I hope you have an excellent weekend and a good week next week. There you go, and don't end up in prison of belief.